Howdy, everybody. It is Crystal Green. Today is May 30th of 2021, and this is my Bible reading. I apologize. I did not document my Bible reading the last 2 days. A lot of stuff going on. So last day of school was Friday. A little overwhelming, more so than I thought. I will miss my students on my bus, and it was a blessing to hear from parents that they were grateful for kids to be on buses this year, to be going to school. And that speaks a lot. Lord, it speaks a lot. So let me get down to my reading. And mind you, this is a couple of days worth. I'm doing my best to get through it as appropriately as possible. So first reading, which would have been on Friday, is 2 Corinthians chapter 1 through 3. Solomon's request for wisdom. Now I've heard and I know this story, but I see it differently this time, and I have to just press it. Quote, "Then God said to Solomon, because this was in your heart, and you have not asked for riches or wealth or honor or the life of your enemies, nor have you asked long life, but have asked wisdom and knowledge for yourself, that you may judge my people over whom I have made you king. Wisdom and knowledge are granted to you, and I will give you riches and wealth and honor, such as none of the kings have had who were before you, nor shall any after you have the like." 2 Chronicles chapter 1, verses 11 and 12. God is not a genie. He is not that lamp in Aladdin where if the genie gets found, you get 3 wishes. He does not grant you these 3 wishes in finding a magic lamp. I think that's kind of like spam mail. But without wisdom, what good would riches, would wealth, would honor, would the life of our enemies, nor a long life be worth? Would they even be worth anything if you did not have the wisdom to use this? So at the top of my page, I actually wrote restraint/wisdom. Now, we had a cool barbecue at work. This is the first time I've been as a school bus driver for my first school year. And the terminal manager was like, "We're putting on this barbecue," and there were ribs. I was helping to cook the ribs a little bit. There's chicken, and there was a buffet for people that brought in a potluck. You name it. But this great music was on, music from when I was, 10, 15 years ago. So when I was not even a mom yet, right? So before I was even a mom, just stuff that I would have danced, and, just heartfelt and just enjoying the moment. So I'm sitting there and I'm helping with the ribs, and I kind of start dancing and I'm having a good time, but I'm chill. I'm thinking, I don't need to go all over the place here. I'm having a good time. I have a little bit here, a little bit there, but I'm like, chill. And I look behind me, and this woman who I've seen numerous times, but never have taken the opportunity to say hello or good morning to, other than in passing. And she's just got this smile on her face. And I said, "What is it?" She says, "You look like you are restraining yourself." And she got this look on her face like, "I'm waiting because something's coming." I said, "Nope, I'm being good." And I thought to myself, that is wisdom, because I really don't have to go all out, wild and crazy, and dance like a maniac like I used to do when I was younger. And when it was okay to just be wild and crazy. And I find that as wisdom. I define that as wisdom. That restraint is recognizing this isn't necessary. Everybody doesn't have to see me go and do a cartwheel over here. Nobody has to see. This is a little bit of that restraint, a little dabble of wisdom in there. So, Lord, thank you for growing me in such a fashion, because I think that was pretty cool. So, Saturday, yesterday, May 29th, would have been 2 Chronicles chapter 4 through 6. Let me move on here. My quote that I have here is, quote, "It stood on 12 oxen, 3 looking toward the north, 3 looking toward the west, 3 looking toward the south, and 3 looking toward the east. The sea was set upon them, and all their back parts," their rumps, all their back parts pointed inward. 2 Chronicles chapter 4, verse 4. And the definition, I have a couple of definitions here. First one is a large basin, a cistern, which is an artificial reservoir, a laver, or a large basin, laver, which Solomon made in the temple so large as to contain more than 6,000 gallons, as per what I've found on the internet and a couple of trusted sites that I found. 6,000 gallons. So this was called the brazen, which is the color of polished brass, mind you. The sea, or the brazen sea, held the water for the priests to wash themselves, or even to do baptism, so to speak, is what one documentation said. And that would be also documented in 1 Kings chapter 7, and is also listed as a large body of water nearly enclosed by land and situated above the level of the ocean. I would say that's another definition of the sea. Yes, absolutely. But this is what I recognized this year about the sea. 12 tribes, 12 oxen, 12 tribes. On the north side of the sea, there were 3. On the south side of the sea, there were 3 oxen. And the same for the east and the west. Now, on the north side of the tabernacle was the tribe of Naphtali, Dan, and Asher. The south side of the tabernacle was Gad, Reuben, and Simeon. The east side of the tabernacle was Issachar, Judah, and Zebulun. And the west side of the tabernacle was Manasseh, Ephraim, and Benjamin. Back parts facing away from the past sins, carrying, right? But the sea is used to wash for the priests, but we're walking away from our sin. We are leaving our sin behind as we move forward to God. Very, very, very cool to me. And today's reading, actually, no. This is in continuance of yesterday's reading. Forgive me. This, every time I hear someone talk about worship and they're like, oh, I don't sing very well. I can't carry a tune in a bucket. Here it is, people. Singers and cymbals and stringed instruments, plus 120 priestly trumpets, Quote, indeed, it came to pass when the trumpets and singers were as one, to make one sound to be heard in praising the Lord. And when they lifted up their voice, one voice, this is a singular phrase for voice, right? Their one voice with the trumpets and cymbals and instruments of music, and praised the Lord, saying, for he is good, for his mercy endures forever. Now that the house of the Lord was filled with a cloud, so that the priests could not continue ministering because of the cloud, for the glory of the Lord filled the house of God. 2 Chronicles chapter 5, verse 13 and 14. There's nothing in any of the versions that I have looked up that say a perfectly harmonious, a completely in tune. It's not that the voices were not in tune note-wise. They were in tune to God, right? These voices were in tuned together to lift the voice together, a united voice together. Not the Tower of Babylon that got separated, right? That had to be split up because it was getting a little too close to heaven in the wrong fashion. This is a united voice. A united voice extolling God's praises. One accord. One heart to the one and only God. That is what it's talking about. There is nothing in here saying that you have to be pitch perfect. And I'm learning about that too. That you do not have to be pitch perfect to reach the ear of God. He takes the groans. He takes the moans. He listens to the pain. He listens to you raise up and you're like, dear Lord, you may not have the words for it, but he knows what's in your heart. He said it even when he was talking to Solomon. This was in your heart, not just on your lips, but in your heart. Oh yeah. It's not about being perfect and singing the right notes or the right harmony. It is about one voice. all lifted up to the glory of God. Now, when Solomon had finished, this is the temple dedication, this is today's reading, praying, fire came down from heaven and consumed the burnt offering and the sacrifices, and the glory of the Lord filled the temple. 2 Chronicles chapter 7, verse 1. Again, the glory of the Lord filled the temple. The brightness, the splendor of the Lord fills us. Are we not the temple? So when we sit here and we pray and we pray and we dig in and we pray and we get that feeling, however that feeling comes to you, whether it's a brightness behind your eye or the hair lifting up on your arms or at the back of your neck, or just that overwhelming, the shaking, however it comes on you, right? However he speaks to you, however he fills you, that is that fire coming down from heaven, receiving the offering that we are giving to him, right? But where there is brightness, shadow cannot exist. Where there is brightness, darkness cannot exist in the same place where there is light, right? So if God has just filled this temple, he has pushed the devil out. He has pushed the fear, the sin out in those moments, which I am learning to try to surrender enough to hold on to that longer and longer. That's what I'm looking to do, to grow in that, right? To grow in that. But if the glory not just rains down upon, but fills this temple, your temple, you have moved the darkness out even more. Every time more darkness can be removed. Just wallow in that. Wallow and relish in that. Look for that. Spend that time offering him prayer, offering him the struggles that we go through, offering the joy that we have, because that is also an offering. The joy that we have, the thanksgiving that we have. Yes, offer that up. Because that's important too. That's an offering as well. And let your temple be filled with his glory. Let your temple be filled with his word. Let your temple be filled with the covenant, the 10 commandments. Fill this temple with the food that he has blessed us with, the manna from heaven, right? So, yes, I wish I could say that I'm always 100% on my reading. I will not tell that lie. I will not, but I will do my best to catch up, even when my life goes a little stir crazy, because all of ours pretty much do. So may you maintain your reading. May you continue to move forward. May you stay in your reading, because it is necessary. It is nourishment. It is that constant walk on the path that keeps us moving forward in his light, not in our personal agendas. Those can definitely get us in trouble, right? So thank you for allowing me to enter into your virtual world. Please don't hesitate. Don't hesitate. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, or at least the link that I'm trying to continue using. And don't hesitate to share. Like this page if you can. Subscribe or like my Facebook documentation, and get notified anytime that I do my best to share. But sharing the word with me as well. Again, thank you for allowing me into your virtual space, and have a great day.